Kirsty's like, play the game, Jeff! Okay, fine. Gotta center myself. All right, this is The First Tree, which is a Fox-based adventure of some kind. I met the guy who made this game at PAX this year, and he was the nicest dude. Like, he was there with a couple of his brothers, and they were all there to hype his game. I think this is basically, by and large, a one-man operation. I think he hired a couple of extra people to do probably audio or just a couple of things that he didn't have the expertise for, but most of this is one guy's work, which really impresses me. Like, I don't have enough varied skills to pull off something like that, but this is a guy's labor of love. His name is David, and his last name is spelled interestingly.
Are you awake?
Here we are.
I thought I heard you get up.
Yeah, I'm awake. Sorry, I just can't sleep.
Are you thinking about him?
Yeah, a bit. Usually get back to sleep, my love. I'm fine.
No, it's okay. What else is on your mind?
I don't know. It seems weird, but I had one of the most vivid dreams of my life. I saw a fox on a snowy mountain, just looking confused and worried. Those eyes. I can't get those eyes out of my head. She was running in the windy snow, looking for something.
Do you think it has to do with you and what's been going on?
I don't know. It was just a dream, Rachel. They're not meant to make sense. A lot's happened the past couple days, that's all.
Well, if you're not going to sleep anyway, you should tell me. I want to hear.
All right.
I didn't want to interrupt anything they were saying. They sounded very serious about it. Okay, so I can't go too close to the edge here. One thing, I hate to interrupt this, but I need to see if I can... Okay, it looks like I can't. I can't change the way the camera works. Usually, I'm an inverted player, so I usually have to switch it so that, pushing forward means down and pulling back means up. But that's not an option here. That's fine. It's not like I'm going to be aiming any guns. Now, I'm feeling a lot of anxiety right now because the way those people were talking, I'm worried about the subject matter of this game. Is this game going to make me cry? Because if this game ends up being a spiritual sequel to that Dragon Cancer, this could get ugly fast. So yeah, Cloudcraft says is expressing regret that the fox doesn't twist his body when you turn and stuff. We were talking earlier before the stream proper about how difficult it is to make quadrupedal characters in games because there's just so much complexity that goes with the way a four-footed body moves. But we have to bear in mind that this is a one-man operation. So this is just a single person's expertise. Probably did not have like a full-time, tech artist or programmer to just, to make the fox's body move with realistic physics and things like that. So I'm inclined to just sort of to take this game as what it is, and not necessarily try to, line it up with sort of the highest technical achievements in the industry. Hey there, Dell. I don't know if I've seen you in my stream before. I know I've seen you in the on the Undead Labs stream, but it's good to have you here. Dell suggests that if this game is anything like the like Watership Down, this is gonna make her cry buckets. Yeah, that was. Oh, what is this? Wait. Okay, that was not an appropriate emotional response to finding a dead friend.
So, not far from her home, she followed that path to something unexpected.
Oh. I gotta say, that was a more effective press X to pay respects than the one we saw in the most recent Call of Duty.
She couldn't stay, though. She had to find her other 2 children. So she took that path. She followed it towards something ancient. Something with answers.
Oh my gosh. This is going to be a game about losing your children. I knew it! David? Okay. Oh, Kirisu asked if there are subtitles. There are subtitles. I saw them on the menu. If you would like, I can turn them on. Huh. Looks like there's a black bar
Fox
all the time.
looked high and low, searching for any sign of her cubs. Points of light showed the way to this ancient tree. It was as if each one had a story to tell, all their own. The land was trying to tell my story, too. I felt like I was right behind her the whole time.
Oh, okay, it looks like there's just a bug when you first turn on the subtitles. It shows a blank bar, but then the bar goes away. Curious who says that he appreciates subtitles, but those are very, very tiny subtitles. Yeah, sorry, I wish there was a way I could make them bigger for you, but I'm playing on this giant 4K screen, so I'm not having any trouble with them. But it usually is my habit to turn on subtitles when I play games. It just helps me comprehend what's going on. It's too easy to miss a word here and there, and you're getting it through 2 different sensory channels just helps me. I usually watch movies and TV with subtitles on too. But when I'm streaming, a lot of times I'll try to err on the side of having less UI on the screen just because sometimes my picture will interfere with it, and, you know, the less awkward popping around the screen I have to do, the better. I like the way that the sun kind of plays across the snow and gets in my eyes. Curious who says that, well, it's good to know you're not having any trouble with the text. Del says that she couldn't find me before. She kept misspelling my Twitch name. That is a problem. So I tried to get Rangatang, just plain Rangatang, because that's my Xbox Live gamer tag. But I got into Twitch a little too late. Somebody had taken Rangatang, so I had to add my traditional DE to the beginning of it, and it's not a very memorable name. I don't know. I'm wondering if someday I should try to switch to a different name. I've been using this one for so long, though. You know, I realize that it's hard to remember it. It's hard to just tell someone what it is and have them, you know, type it up later.
Do you remember what my dad did for a living?
Wasn't he like a lumberjack?
That's one way of putting it. If wood was a canvas, then a carving knife was his paintbrush. Even after working a 50-hour week, even after his hands were more splinters than skin, he would bring home the nicest piece of Alaskan weeping cedar and make me toys. That wooden train was the first toy I can remember, and I loved it. I just knew from a young age I was going to be a lumberjack, like my father.
Oh, so this isn't about dead children, it's about dead parents. Great! Kirisu suggests that I could use the name Undead Jeff, or Undead Geoffrey, as a Twitch handle. And actually, I think I actually do have a Twitch handle that is Undead Geoffrey, so that I can, like, that's what I used to use when we were doing, when our other game that got canceled was doing Twitch streams. I would go into the chat as Undead Geoffrey. That's my work account. Thing is, I don't want to use that as my, because, I don't know, what if someday in the future I left Undead Labs? I wouldn't want to have Undead attached to my Twitch handle, you know? It just seems kind of weird. Not that I'm planning on leaving Undead Labs anytime soon. This is a great place. But, you know, I'd rather the stuff that I do be more attached to me, you know? Oh, Cloudcraft says, something I've noticed with games is that they can often better get away with emotional cues in the music and visuals without feeling forced. You agree? So I'm not sure exactly the point you're making, if you mean as opposed to doing it in dialogue, like that maybe a game that's trying to bring across an emotional moment is better off doing it with music and with visuals and stuff like that than trying to write a scene, because a lot of the time games just they have a harder time than, say, movies at sort of connecting on that personal level, but on an atmospheric level they're just as good. Okay, how do I jump to get that thing? It's a game about futility. Cloudcraft points out that they're doing a great job of using a small number of pieces to make the terrain feel varied and interesting. It helps that they've got, I mean, man, there's a lot of grass, right? And something like procedurally distributed grass that animates can go a long way towards taking a surface that would look repetitive and dull and making it seem, varied and random, because I mean, it is varied and random. Textures, that's harder to do with. It's a real art form to make a texture that can tile across a huge swath of terrain and not have any markers that your brain calls out and makes it look like an MC Escher tessellation. So that can be pretty impressive. But yeah, now that, hardware can actually typically handle a bunch of grass, that is a great tool for sort of breaking it up. Cloudcraft says, oh no! The grass is killing the compression. Okay, so that's a problem. Anything that makes the world more chaotic and interesting to a human brain, it runs the risk of making it completely unmanageable to a compression algorithm.
We were working another late night, and my friends were over, saying how bored they were and how they had come all the way out to my house for nothing. One of them mentioned how that old, ugly beyond belief truck was still in the garage, and how we should take it for a spin. I was only 15, so I kind of fought it for a while. The next thing I knew, we were careening around the mountain path, rocks spitting onto the sides of the cliff, while my dad's cringeworthy bluegrass blared out the speakers. I drove while my friends were in the back of that yellow and purple truck, throwing beer bottles and trash at anything remotely interesting. Felt like I was soaring in the air with borrowed wings. But all good things have endings. A cop outside of Eagle River pulled us over after he saw us in a bottle rocket into someone's yard. What followed was a long night of talking to disappointed adults and feeling smaller than ever.
Is that a hat? A couple of hunters' hats? So, Tom Scott, by the way, made a great video about compression, about video compression and how it works, and what you can do in a video to just make it ridiculous. He launches a bunch of confetti all over his screen just so you can see how it completely tanks streaming video. If you haven't looked up Tom Scott, by the way, on YouTube, he's like my favorite person on there. He does a huge variety of stuff. He's a very clever tech expert guy, but he does a lot more than just that. So I hype him whenever I can. Am I back at the beginning? This is that same rock, isn't it? I think I've gone in circles. Do I have to get this thing? I mean, I'm assuming this thing is optional, but I know if it's like one of those collectibles in Mario plus Rabbids that makes other collectibles appear after you get it. I cannot get it. Oh, and I can't do a second jump deep into my jump. If I'm going to do a second jump, it has to be immediate. Yeah, so yeah, Epic Sakura was asking, what compression is. And I think Cloudcraft gave her a pretty good answer, but I wanted to answer it to. When I talk about when we're talking about compression right now, we're talking not about anything that's happening in the game. We're talking about when I'm streaming the video to Twitch. Twitch has to do some stuff to be able to get the video to you quickly enough, you know, so that each frame can get to you fast. And so, you know, it is hard to explain, isn't it? Basically, when you're going from one frame to the next, if the software that you're using can find ways that those two frames are similar to each other, and you know, cheaply sort of you know, have to change as little as possible in the next frame, or you just use its knowledge of what doesn't change over time to allow it to make fewer changes each frame. That means that it can get more frames out to you more quickly. And so usually, so if a video, if lots of parts of it, like you know, around here, like the background behind me never changes, and so that's a really cheap part of the video to show because it's the same every single frame. So the computer doesn't have to worry about it. Just leave those things alone. But the game window down here is changing constantly, and because of the grass, it's just going constantly back and forth between green, brown, green, brown, green, brown. Each pixel is green, brown, green, brown, green, brown, green, brown whenever I'm moving around. And so that just makes that entire field of the screen really difficult for the game to stream. Hey, look, a cop car. And so what it'll often do is simplify those parts of the screen. If that part of the screen gets really, really complex, then it will just simplify it. So you get these big block. You know, when a video goes really blocky, that's what it's doing. Is it's taking sections of the screen and just making them simpler. Oh, hey, look, some collectibles. It's taking sections of the screen and just making them simpler so that it can compress them, and still get the video out to you quickly. So Dell is like, that just went right over my head. That's fine. I don't actually even understand the details of it myself. I'm not a programmer. I just know roughly how the concepts work. Oh, there's something up there. So I would recommend, if you're interested in understanding this, look up Tom Scott on YouTube, because he's better at explaining this stuff than I am, and he actually has visual aids that he uses to show you why it works. He's really good at explaining arcane things to people. That's kind of what the foundation of his YouTube channel is. Hey, a purple collectible. What is this? Wait, is it it's... Oh my gosh. The butterflies, they make me fly. Did they stay where they were? Okay, how do I use these? Let's see here. I still can't reach... Okay, so I feel like what that was supposed to do was give me just enough of a jump boost that I could reach that collectible. Problem is, I already can't reach the collectibles that I'm supposed to be able to reach without the butterflies. Got it. Okay, so I wonder, can I take those butterflies anywhere I want? Can I bring them back to that first place where I was having trouble? Oh, except I think I have to get up onto that rock first. Let's see. Oh yeah, Cloudcraft also recommends Computer File, which is one of Brady Heron's channels, for explanations of computer stuff when you're when you're interested but you don't actually have like a CS degree or something. That is a really good source too. Okay, so there's a collectible up there. Yes. Okay, do I want to get this collectible? Because then it might be a hassle to get back where I am. Nope, that worked fine. Not being able to invert my camera is driving me nuts. But again, I realize it's a one-man operation. Usually gotta let something go. For me, that would be the first thing I would fix, because that's just, it's my daily personal struggle. Trying to get my head to point the right way in a video game. Oh, so Kirisu says I need to jump right after my initial jump to get maximum height. Yeah, so it actually doesn't let me go much longer after jumping. So it does force me to do it fairly quickly, but you're right. It could be that I was not doing it with the right timing, because I think that I've played enough games where jumping, where doing my double jump a little bit late is the best way to get the most height or the most distance, usually distance. And so I think my habits from other games kind of came in here and were giving me bad advice. Oh my gosh, fuck, suicide. Okay, well, I think we're fine. I don't know if I was supposed to come here. What's that? Oh, little flutterbys. Hey there, little flutterbys. Alright, so we're trying to get... Where'd it go? I know there's a collectible around here. There it is. I think it's interesting that they, Oh, come on! I think this might be an issue with not enough testing resources, because one problem you often have on a team is that people who've been playing the game for a long time get really good at it, and they get really good at some of the more arcane parts of playing the game, and then there's a risk that if the people who are testing the game are really familiar with the game, they're going to miss things that are too difficult. They're not going to be able to catch on that some things just, you have to get it exactly right in order to make it work, and maybe 90% of your audience isn't going to be able to get it exactly right. That's one reason it's really helpful to have kind of a rotating pool of testers. Like you have some testers who are with the game long term, who are like full-time employees at the company, who who are like planning out the whole testing process. But then, as the game moves on, you bring on more testers, new testers all the time. And do play tests with what you call like Kleenex testers, people who you have them test the game once and then they never test it again. You throw them away, and then you just keep sort of expanding your pool of testers, or you bring in new ones, go to outside people, because like each time someone who's completely new to the game tries it out, you're going to learn stuff. You're going to realize, oh, we've been drifting too difficult, and all of us, for everybody at the company, it's been like like a frog in a pot. It's been going up in difficulty. Oh, did I just jump and lose my? Like the difficulty's been going up slowly, or little problems have been creeping in, and we've all just sort of been slowly dealing with it. But when a new person shows up, they'll be like, "Oh, this is way too hard. I can't even figure this out," and they'll be a really useful source of feedback. So I could imagine a very small one. There we go. Very small one-man operation might struggle with that, because if you can't afford to bring in 12 new testers or whatever at some point in the project, then you might never get that perspective. So Kirasu, I ended up following. It ended up being your suggestion that made that possible. I just hammered the button as fast as I possibly could, and that was what eventually got me over it. So thanks for your advice. Well, guess you gotta leave the butterflies behind for this part. Guess I didn't need them. Okay, so they're up there. Okay, I thought maybe I could use them midair or something, but guess not. So why are they there? And so much foliage. Yeah, because I've got some butterflies down here. So why are there butterflies floating midair up there? Because is there a place I can get to from there that I just can't get to from here? I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, what is happening? Oh no! So I remember when I was a young level designer, I think it would be so cool to make a waterfall that you go behind in a game, but getting close to splashing water is like the artists that I was working with were like, you don't want to do that. No, you don't want to. You don't want to go behind a waterfall because waterfalls in the distance are beautiful, but waterfalls up close are really, really hard to make look right. Hey, Turvama's here. Hey there, Turvama. Let's see, can I get up this? Probably not. I wonder if I can collect more than 3 butterflies. Let's go try that. Okay, so I won't get this now, but I will jump into those butterflies, see if I can retain them all the way down, and then try to get the other butterflies. And then the arrangement of butterflies from the... Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, no! Okay, fine. Try again. Okay, so I retain these butterflies. And then... Can I get more? I have 6 butterflies, yo! I got so many butterflies. This is crazy. Wait, there were more butterflies over here, weren't there? Oh, I might have to jump to get these, though. I'm gonna go see if I can get them without jumping. My thumb is not allowed to touch the A button. I'm gonna see if I can get these guys. Cloudcraft says, at some point when we're doing a live stream, he should tell his waterfall story. He says that he's found ways to abuse his classmates with waterfalls before. Yeah, I don't think I can get these. No, I guess I gotta settle for 6. Just 6 butterflies. So I'm assuming either this means a really high initial jump, or possibly a really high second jump. We'll have to find out how this works. Come on, Foxy. Let's go. I want to find out about my dead father. Okay. No! Well, I got the collectible. Did I just do it wrong? Or, see, it can be really tough in games like this. Like, games that depend on your jump height, it can be really, really tough to balance everything so that the player always knows the difference between I did this wrong and I did it right and the jump isn't supposed to get me there. Like, those are 2 very different situations, and it is very hard to tell the difference between them sometimes. I mean, simple 2D pixel art platformers make it a lot easier because you can see how high the feet are going, you know? So you can tell, oh yeah, my feet don't go above that? Great, I know I can't make that jump. But 3D games with perspective and foreshortening and, you know, and characters that are made out of polygons and that have collision capsules and maybe have even ledge grabbing mechanics, like, there are a lot of things that can go wrong for the player who's trying to, figure out what went wrong with their jump. So I can't. What even happened just there? Okay, but I can't get up this. Okay, I thought maybe I could get 9 this way, but nope. We got these guys. So much greenness. Dell says that she calls butterflies flutterbys because that's what her daughter called them when she was little. You know, flutterby is actually the you probably already know this, is actually the original word. In English, when the word was first coined, they were called flutterbys, and butterfly was a joke. Like some old man who thinks puns are funny was like decided to call them butterflies one day because they thought that was hilarious. And what's this? And it caught on. The joke caught on, and the joke became so popular that it became the real name of the animal.
After he drove me home from the police station, I blew up at him, saying how I never wanted to be like him, how I was going to be someone and leave that hick icebox for good. He just looked forward at the road with tired eyes. I took out that bluegrass tape from the cassette deck and chucked it out the window. In my sage teenage wisdom, I thought I proved the ultimate point. But my dad had a different idea. He slammed the brakes, slowly bowed his head while gripping the steering wheel, and finally looked at me. All he said, like it was a polite request, was, "Make this right." I sat there in silence, fuming, but I eventually got out and combed every square inch of the woods, muttering profanity after profanity. I found it 30 minutes later, near a small waterfall off the road. I went back to the truck, put the wet tape back in, and sure enough, it worked. We didn't speak another word to each other the rest of the night.
Wow, I knew you were a crazy teenager, but...
It's hard to believe, isn't it? It surprises me too. It's like I didn't really know who that kid was back then. I bet my dad thought the same thing over and over. It's almost like he was saying, "Make this right," to himself, more than to me.
So Kira predicts that this fox is going to find a dead body at some point. And I think that might be true. Either a dead body or just something that represents the fact that my father has died. This seems like it's a game about regret. You're playing a fox who's lost her cubs. At least one of them is dead. And now, but meanwhile, there's a narrator who's like having a dream about this, who's talking to his...
If there was some way I could take my love of drawing and turn it into a way of escape, nothing would make me happier. I wanted to create instead of tearing trees down. I wanted to move to the lower 48, not because I hated it there in Alaska, but I hated the idea of it. It's like all of that spite inside me had created this monster which followed me around my whole teenage years. I put so much energy into doing what others didn't expect of me. Why did I do that?
There's one fact you're forgetting, though. If you didn't have that fire in you, we probably would have never met.
You're absolutely right. Maybe the destination is all that matters in the end. But then why am I awake? Why am I seeing this fox go on her journey?
Oh, I went a little bit too far. Didn't get to hear the end of that line. It's collectibles that way, but a really pretty tree this way. Fertuz just pointed out that in French, the word for fox is renard, and apparently there was a character who was a fox named Renard, and that's why, like originally, according to Fertuz, the name for fox was Goupil at first, and that got replaced by Renard because there was a popular story where there was a fox character named Renard. So everybody called foxes renards. That's interesting. I knew that renard was French for fox, and also one of my favorite characters in the Magicians TV show, who is not a fox, but another kind of monster.
When I detested him the most, he kept reaching out. For a year straight, he asked me every week when we were going camping. I thought he was just dense. Eventually, to shut him up, I agreed. We carried out the worn lawn chairs from the garage and set up a cinder block campfire at the site we'd always used behind the house. We walked down the mountain path, talking in the warm sunshine we only got a couple months of the year. Those 3 obsidian rocks shimmered alongside the shore, almost like sparklers pressed against a dark window. I'll never forget that wet stone on my feet, or how those massive mountains looked even bigger in the lake's reflection. I felt small, but grateful. As the sun set, my dad found something I hadn't seen for a long time. The tree where I'd made my first carving when I was 6. I hadn't even carved it. My dad had helped me, but I still called it my tree. Something about seeing my name there made me open up, and we talked about everything that night in that old camouflage tent. I told him how much I loved sketching and design, and how it would be a dream to study architecture in Seattle. I told him how I didn't get along with my friends much anymore, but that I didn't mind being alone. He told me he was there for me, and he joked that if all he had to do was write my name on a tree to finally get me to talk, he would have left me carved logs with novels on them in front of my room every morning. I don't know why it took me that long to realize it, but it was then I knew how much he had sacrificed for me.
Oh. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with this rock. This is 0 of 3. Yeah, I feel like it's like, am I supposed to try to catch that thing? Feels like I'm supposed to try to catch that thing. Unfortunately, because I think I got it. Because I've had so many experiences with feeling like I was doing the right thing, but not being quite right in this game. It's just, I always have this questioning in my head, like, if I'm doing something, I don't know if it's right or not, because it might still be right, and I'm just off by a hair. Well, we're running low on time. And honestly, I don't know if it's probably not really appropriate for me to stream more than an hour of this game, just because I'm assuming it's not extremely long, and most of it is about discovering the story of these characters. And I wouldn't want to just sort of spoil the whole thing. So, I guess we're probably going to sign out pretty soon. Let me just see if I can get this last collectible. Oh, no, 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 no! Fox! Oh, you fox. So Dell asks, is the narrator dead and reincarnated as a fox? So the way that it was framed at the very beginning was the narrator has woken up and is telling his wife or significant other about a dream he had about a fox that has brought up a lot of feelings about his father. And there's some pretty strong hints that his dad has recently died. I don't know if that's the case, but it seems to be the case. There we go. All right, I got that collectible, and here is a beautiful place to kind of stop. So we'll stop. Yes, I'm sure. So, thank you all for being here. Thanks for all the participation, guys. And also, thank you to David for making this game in the first place. It was great meeting you at PAX. I'm going to link this video to him. Hope he gets a chance to watch it and see us enjoy his work. And I've got a lot of respect for someone who can, you know, as practically a one-man team, put together something that is this beautiful and emotional, and you know, it's really cool that he was not only able to make it, but he was also able to get it out there, you know, for people to see and enjoy. So, what? I played the first tree today.
Oh, the Fox game.
The Fox game. So that was my boss. So I'm definitely going to quit now and go back to work. So yeah, I will see you all later.